President of Student Affairs for Rio Community College. He has an accomplished background in athletics. He attended Vero Beach High School, where he earned letters in football, track, and weightlifting. After that, he went on to college, was nominated for the Butkus Award for his achievements in football as one of the country's best linebackers. He went on to play after college for the North American Educator, for the European League, and for some other sports. And he would like to come up here and give you guys a few words of wisdom. Will you please help me welcome Dr. Terry from Rio.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Okay. Repeat after me. Go. Go. Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds. Okay, I like that. Somebody said that with authority over here. Let's try that again on 3. 1, 2, 3. Go. Thunderbirds. Go Thunderbirds. I love it. I love it. All right, so I have just a few talking points. I'm not going to get up here and when I was once upon a time, as he alluded to, many moons ago, I sat where you're sitting. I was a student athlete at Kent State University. Again, like I said, I played professional football in Canada in the Arena Football League. Way back, I was just a high school kid, you know, trying to make it, you know. And I remember going to things like this and listening to different motivational speakers and professional athletes and different things that came back to talk to us. And the thing that I always appreciated when I was sitting where you were sitting is what they said, what they had to say, as briefly as possible, and they got out of the way and let me go about my business, okay? So I'm not going to hold you hostage. I just want to share a few things. First of all, it's an honor and a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much, administrators and faculty, for inviting me here. Many people talk about my background, and it's not about talking about my background and giving myself a pat on the back, more so than it is to inspire the next group of leaders in our communities. Because that's what you are. You are special. I know people are so guarded against telling student athletes that they're special because they don't want you to become entitled or think you're better than, but you are. And we're going to touch on some of that. But we're also going to touch on responsibility, because to whom much is given, much is required. Things like understanding the value of your education. Understanding that it's not about going to college, it's about finishing college. And also, while doing that, pursuing your passions, because your passion will not stop. Your passion should not stop the last day you compete in an athletic arena. Let me repeat that. Your passions should not be limited to what you do in an athletic arena. So, just a couple slides to tell you about myself. I'm currently the Vice President of Student Affairs at Rio Salado College. I've been there now a little over 2 years. Prior to that, I was the Dean of Students at a large traditional community college out in Florida, Tampa, Florida, Hillsborough Community College. Got some Florida folks in the house. Yeah, okay. FLA. What part of Florida are you from? Tampa, that's what's up. 813, what about you? Clearwater, oh yeah. Florida folks, let's act like we have some home training. All right? Let me say what I gotta say. Now, my start in higher education after my football career began at Auburn University. War Eagle. While at Auburn University, I got a PhD and a master's degree. But the way I got my foot in the door was not because of my football acumen, because I had watched so much film. It was not because I could tell you everything there was about a 4-3 defense, 5-2 defense, bear defense, cover 3, cover 2, man, zone, whatever you want. I can tell you everything. I've gotten more than the average football coach knows, and that's with respect. You know the reason they gave me an opportunity to work at Auburn University, one of the top public research institutions in the country, one of the top land-grant schools in the country, was because I had a college degree. Yes. It's a lot of people knocking on the door trying to get those opportunities, and you'll find that out because I'm going to talk about competition. The reason that they gave this man, who was not a great student athlete, I just stepped off my pedestal. I was not a great student athlete. I was on nobody's dean's list. But I did mention I finished my degree. And it allowed me to continue pursuing my passions beyond my last playing day. And by the way, I was pretty young when I was done playing. I played, I didn't play in the NFL, I didn't make $1 million, I didn't have a Nike commercial. But I lived well, I made some good money. But it was over by the time I was 30. And I was pretty good, okay? The thing that allowed me to continue and get an opportunity to step into higher education, my new passion, was I had a degree, I had completed. Okay? While at Auburn, it was transformational. It changed my life and affected my life even more significantly than football. Can you believe that? Because you couldn't have convinced me of that when I was 6 years old, when I was 16 years old, when I was 21 years old, and I was a Butkus Award candidate. You could have told me that education was going to impact my life more than football. But it did. While at Auburn University, I had the distinct pleasure of becoming the supervisor of academic support for the Department of Collegiate Athletics at a Power 5 BCS school. That means I had elite athletes from around the world. At the 2008 Olympic Games, Auburn University had more medals than some countries. I worked with coaches like Coach Tommy Tuberville. While working with him, we had 3 consecutive years when we had top 5 recruiting classes. We had over 30-some NFL draft picks. Let me repeat, 30-some NFL draft picks. Here's the thing I didn't put on the slide. Also, while working for Coach Tuberville and working with football players who, no disrespect guys, we're considered the most at risk. Yeah. We also had the number 3 ranked academic performance rating by the NCAA. The academic performance rating measures rubrics like graduation, progress towards degrees, GPAs. The only 2 schools ahead of us were private colleges, Stanford and Boston College. I say all this to say, as we were operating and competing at a high level, we were also going to class. We were also getting students across the finish line. I'm not talking about track. I'm talking about we were helping, supporting, and facilitating completion. Also worked with Coach Jeff Lebo. For some of you people old like me, you might remember a guy named Dean Smith at the University of North Carolina. One of the greatest college basketball coaches of all time. Jeff Lebo was one of his assistants. He came to Auburn. We had tremendous success. We actually made it to an Elite 8 in the NIT. Several of our players went on to play professional basketball in the NBA and overseas. Also had the pleasure of working with Coach Ralph Spry, one of the top track coaches in the country. We had 26 NCAA champions. We also had 13 Olympians, as I alluded to earlier, as well as 6 world champions while I was at Auburn University. But I still want to go back to this. We had one of the best academic performance ratings in the country because we help students get across the finish line. As for me, I started out small town kid. If you've ever vacationed in Florida, you might have heard of this little place called Vero Beach, Florida. Now, when I was growing up, it was just a little dot on the map. It's a little bit bigger now. I actually get lost when I go home sometimes. I don't go home enough. But it was small town USA. Obviously, as my man alluded to earlier, I was an all-state, super prep, all that good stuff. All that good stuff, right? Had the opportunity to go on and play Division I college football in the Mid-American Conference. Played linebacker at Kent State University. While there, I was an all-conference selection. Sporting News Magazine and some other publications listed me one of the top defensive players in the country. Obviously, the Butkus Award for you football players, you know, is awarded to the best linebacker in the country. I was the first player in school history to be nominated for that. Finished my career as one of the top tacklers in school history. I did not get drafted. I did not get drafted. Great college career. Did everything you're supposed to do. Worked out for 20-some teams. Was at the NFL Combine when players like Peyton Manning was there. Randy Moss was there. Charles Woodson was there. Played against guys in college who won the Heisman, who were first-round NFL draft picks, and I whooped them, by the way. Right? But I didn't get drafted. But guess what? I graduated. Could have came out early. I was 21 years old. People were tugging at me. You'll be a second, third round pick. Come on now. I stayed. I got that degree. I'll talk about that because I had a responsibility. My dream was bigger than my own. And I'm thankful I did, or I wouldn't be standing here today talking to you all. So, didn't get drafted into the NFL. Ended up having a successful pro career. 7 years, played in the Canadian Football League. Played in the Arena Football League. All in all, I can't complain. I'm blessed. I had a rare opportunity to do something that very, very few are able to do, whether it be college or pro. So I'm thankful. More thankful that I got a college education. Because see, where I came from, I was an outlier. Let me tell you what the norm was. The norm for someone growing up in my neighborhood was a combination of the following. You sell drugs, you use drugs, you do both, and you end up dead or in jail. Sell, use, combination of both, and then you end up dead or in jail. Is there anyone who want to sign up for those options? No, me neither. Me neither. Poor black neighborhood, place you didn't want to be at after dark. I've seen dead bodies before I left elementary school. I knew more about cooking and cutting up cocaine than I ever should by the time I was in middle school. Yes, I've owned a gun before. It was not a safe place to grow up. I had little to no options. It was very easy to follow the crowd. You see, because when you stand for something, when you believe in something, sometimes you don't have to stand alone. Let me repeat that. You always have an option. The best option is not always the most popular option. Have I ever been called a nerd? Yes. Have I ever been called lame? Yes. Did the pretty girls want to talk to me? No. And I know you're looking at all this swag saying, how did he not? I didn't. It wasn't cool not to have gold teeth and jewelry and a car. It wasn't cool to want to go to school and do well. It wasn't cool to want to stay after school and work out and run track and do all the things that you got to do that you know about to make yourself the best player you can become. It wasn't cool to go to the library when everybody was hanging out in the different hangout spots. That wasn't cool. But you know what was cool? My senior year, I started getting recruited. Well, I started getting recruited before then, but I started getting handwritten letters from these Division I coaches. I grew up in Vero Beach, Florida. I told you it was just a dot on the map. I was getting letters from Terry Donahue, who handwritten letters. He's the head coach of UCLA. Bobby Bowden at FSU. Dennis Erickson in Miami. Hayden Fry at Auburn. Earl Bruce at Ohio State. This poor little kid who grew up in this neighborhood with little or no options had it, all of a sudden it became a reality. I had the opportunity of a lifetime. It's called education. Because I had worked hard and did the things that were not popular, did the things that were difficult, not easy. I had created for myself a platform, an opportunity to move beyond my circumstance, to change my environment and go somewhere that very few can go. Let me give you a quick stat. Less than 1% of all high school football players play Division I football. Fact. Less than 1%. That means less than 1 out of 100 go on to play college football at the highest level. I was one of those kids. Not because I could bench press 225 20 sometimes leaving out of high school. Not because I had a high bird, or I was all state, or my name was on some super prep magazine list. You know why I had that opportunity? And I'm keeping it 100 with y'all right now. When those college coaches come here, when they come to the high schools, they don't go see your coach first. Guess what they go see first? They either go to a counselor, somebody academic advising, and they look at your transcripts. And they ask one question. Big man, they don't want to know how well you run block. DB, they don't care about how loose your hips is and how quick your feet is. Point guard, they don't care about your crossover and your jet. They're going to ask one question. Pitcher, they don't care how fast you can throw that ball. They're going to ask you one question. Are you a qualifier? Do you qualify? What you mean, Dr. Terry? Qualify. Can you make it in the classroom? They got a list longer than my arms of people who look just like you. The easiest way to filter down to who they should pick and who they should throw away is the grades. It's the great divider in collegiate athletics. You got some who can cut it, some who can't. Go to class. Do what you got to do. Complete. I showed up to college, man. This is a true story. I was in a little town, Vero Beach, Florida. I told you how I grew up. My granddaddy was a Baptist preacher. He had about a 6th grade education, if that. One of the wisest men I ever known. He could quote that Bible front and back. And he held me accountable. There wasn't a whole lot of hugging and kissing and that kind of stuff. But I knew he loved me. And he cared about me. You know why I know? Because he held me accountable. Don't get people in your life who fill your ear with what you want to hear. Get people in your life who are going to tell you the truth. Because those people are going to breathe life to your dreams. And I remember that man sitting there with me in a Greyhound bus station. Yes, I live in Vero Beach. Kent State was in Ohio. On the Greyhound, that's 29 hours. Have anybody ever rode on a Greyhound? Raise your hand, please. Okay, so if you know anything about Greyhound, it stops in every little nook and cranny, every little town between here and wherever. Listen, my grandfather said this to me. You ain't got no reason to come back here. You know what you have been through to get to where you're going. You know how hard you worked. So when you go up there, do what you're supposed to do and finish school. That's what this man said to me. And you should have seen the look on his face. Again, wasn't a very verbose person, wasn't a very emotional person, but you could see it on his face. He didn't tell me to go up there and lead the conference in tackles. He didn't tell me to go up there and be all conference. He didn't say nothing about getting drafted into the NFL. He said, go up there, do what you're supposed to do, and finish school. God is my witness. I never forgot that moment. That stuck with me. When I said my prayers at night, I was thinking about that. Because my God, I cannot let that man down. He, the teachers, the community, the coaches, everybody who had invested in me, I thought about them when it got tough. And yes, y'all, it will get tough. It was the first time I ever had my own bed. I had a choice between the cot, the couch, or the floor. I grew up with cousins. You ain't got to raise your hand, but I know some of y'all know what I'm talking about. You got a twin bed. You got two at the foot, two at the head. Yeah. You may do. And if it's not a space for you, you're lucky if you got the couch. A lot of times I got the floor. As I got bigger and stronger, I didn't fit on there with anybody, so I never got to get on the couch or the cot. You know, I slept on the floor. I had my own bed. I had a dorm room. It was the opportunity of a lifetime to go to college and get an education. So, here's the reality, and here's what Richard Sherman was saying in his comments to the press. He was saying, yes, it is unfair expectations that are conveyed upon student athletes. Because A, it is a full-time job. However, on the flip side, it is a privilege. You are privy to opportunities that some others would give anything for. You're a college athlete. Honestly, look in the mirror, think about where you're from, wherever you play high school football, or basketball, or track, or whatever sport you compete in. I don't care if it's tennis, track, whatever. There are people out there, you all know them, that are just as good, if not better than you. But guess what? They're not sitting where you're sitting right now. They're going to ask you to get up 4 days in the morning to go train, watch film, have one-on-one sessions, study tables, eat, go to class, and guess what? You do it all over again. Just for an opportunity to compete. Because after you do all that, ain't no guarantee you're going to get on the field. Because guess what? Every year, they're going to recruit somebody who looks just like you, just like you, just like you. It's called competition. And such is life. Because remember, when your playing days are done, you're not done competing. When your playing days are done, you're not done competing. Use this time to learn how to prepare to compete. Not just in your athletic arena, but in life. Because I got the 5 P's. Anybody ever heard of the 5 P's? Let me tell you about the 5 P's. Poor preparation prevents peak performance. What's the difference between me and that big offensive tackle? What's the difference between me and that offensive guard? What's the difference between me and that fullback? Now, speaking in football terms, I hope I'm not losing some of y'all. But these are the people who I have to compete against. The difference is the preparation. They have enough ability to be on the same field that I am. The difference is he is unable to do his job because I got to whoop him. If I can beat him, then I'm doing my job. The difference is preparation. This is true in life. So where do you prepare for life? Where do you give yourself a competitive edge in life? In the classroom. In your interactions with your peers. You got to learn social skills. One of the biggest challenges that we have today as a society is 2 things. A, there's a skills gap. We always talk about jobs. in the global economy. Yes, there is a skills gap. People have degrees, but they don't have skills relevant to today's market. There's also a challenge with respect to soft skills, people skills, being able to communicate effectively, whether written or verbal, being able to go up, shake someone's hand, look them in the eye, things that we were taught. Again, I'm talking about old folks, I'm older. You shake a man's hand, you give him a firm shake, and you look him in the eye. You introduce yourself a certain way. I know it might sound old-fashioned, but there's never nothing wrong with saying please and thank you. There's never nothing wrong with saying yes ma'am, no ma'am, yes sir, no sir. Develop these things while you're here. Remember, it's not about the name on the back of the jersey, it's the name on the front. You represent you, your family, your team, and this college. Every time you walk across this campus, every time you go across the street to go to Peter Jungle, you 6'4", 260, man, you play football. That's real. You represent something more than yourself. And when you get out there and you're working for a Fortune 500 company, or you're working for Rio Salado College, it's about the name on the front of the jersey, not the name on the back. You can learn that here, develop that here. So, for you people who are listening to me saying, you know what, you didn't get drafted into the NFL, you played in Canada and arena football, that ain't gonna beat me. I'm going to the league, I'm going to the NFL. I'm going to the NBA. I'm gonna be on tour. I'm gonna compete in the Olympics and get an endorsement deal and be set for the rest of my life. I'm gonna compete in the Olympics and run for Adidas. I'm gonna play for the D-backs. Whatever your sport, whatever your dream, whatever your aspiration, know this. Less than 3%, this is fact, less than 3% of all student athletes compete at the professional level. Less than 3. That's all of them. I think it's 600 and some in the NCAA. Less than 3% will ever compete at the professional level. So if less than 3% compete at the professional level, what can you do to ensure your future? Complete your degree. Very simple. Make sure while you're here preparing to compete at a high level in your playing field, that you're also preparing yourself to be able to compete in the real world. Get your degree. Go to class. Spend some time with a tutor. And not just because she's pretty, because I did that. Don't worry. Okay? Spend time with tutors. Get that supplemental instruction. Do all the little things that you're going to do to work on your swing. Do all the little things that you're going to do to work on your routes. Do all the little things that you're going to do to work on your J. Do all the little things that you work on to become elite in your sport. Become elite in life. Learn how to compete. So, as we're talking about competing, and we're talking about completing, I want to get into passion. This is the last thing I got to say, because I don't talk way too much and I'm not a preacher. What is your dream? Why are you here? And if you can't answer that question definitively, you need to sit down and have a conversation with yourself. Self. Why am I here? Why am I doing this? You should know what your dream is. What is your end game? What drives you? Now let me say this. If your dream is not bigger than you, then you're not dreaming big enough. Let me repeat that. If your dream, whatever it is not bigger than you, it needs to be bigger. I told you my story. It's a heap of people, a collective. It takes a village, ancient proverb, to raise a child. It was a whole lot of praying, a whole bunch of tough love, a whole bunch of charity that got me out the hood. So when it got tough, and it will get tough, some of you know this already, I thought about those people because, trust me, I told you I played Division I football. I played with NFL draft picks. And I played with guys who would have been NFL draft picks, but guess what? They said, you know what, I'm good. I did. I seen guys who look like doggone Avengers, look like comic. I mean, just, you know, you walk into that locker room and you're looking at guys who are going to be playing on TV next year. Right? There's 100 and some guys in there, and you're looking at guys who went on to play on TV. John Madden called the game on Fox. Guys, right? Then you see guys coming up right behind them. Because remember, they recruit somebody who looked like you every single year. They recruit your competition. They recruit your replacement every year. Right? But I saw a lot of those guys quit, fall to the wayside. This is just my theory. Their dream wasn't big enough. You got to own that. You got to own the fact that whatever you're pursuing, somebody helped you get there. And it's gonna affect the lives of not just you, but other people if you quit. If you don't do the things you're supposed to do. If you make a bad decision. If you don't do the right things when nobody's looking, it's not just going to affect you. Remember, it's not about the name on the back of the jersey. It's the name on the front. You're representing you, your family, your team, and this college. Do the right thing all the time. Don't sit in the back of the class, fellas, because I'm talking to the fellas, because that's who do it. Don't sit in the back of the class and sleep. Ladies, don't sit in the front of the class and text your girlfriends all doggone day. Go to class, take notes, pay attention, participate, learn something, because you will have to use it in real life. Yes, I was at a networking event at a conference in Chicago talking about something I learned in my Western civilization class from undergrad. But guess what? The person that I was talking to was a very, very important person. And it was a great icebreaker. And I followed up with that person. Remember, soft skills. Because I'm going to tell you, I've hired hundreds of people. Your athletic director, I'm sure, can attest to this. If the only thing you can do is come in there in an interview and talk about your GPA or you was in an honor society, guess what? I'm going to say next. You got to bring some other things to the table when you're out there competing in the real world. You can practice that here while you're here. Happily ever after doesn't exist. This is hard for some people to realize because they got in their mind, when I ask them what their dream is, they're thinking about this picture that looks like happily ever after. No, it's not. It doesn't exist. Here's the reality. Success. Success. I'm going to give you an example of short-term success. Somebody gets hurt, his backup steps up, the backup gets in there, has a great game. The backup comes back the next week, the backup gets it handed to him. Why do you think that happens? Why do you think that happens? Success isn't owned. You don't own success. No matter what level you get to, you don't own success. Let me tell you this. The average NFL career is about 3 years. Why is it only 3 years, Dr. Terry? It's not because of injuries. Everybody thinks it's because of injuries. It's not because of injuries. I'm going to tell you what an agent told me. I played 7 years, by the way. You know why it's only 3 years? Because guys get fat and get rich. They do. They get rich and get fat and they forget to work. They forget what got them there. Success isn't owned, it's lease. You understand what a lease is? That means you're renting something. It's leased and you got to pay the rent every day. You want to be successful? You're going to have to work and own it every day. If you don't do that, you will not be successful. You will look good for a minute. You will have your 15 minutes of fame. You'll have your face in the sun for a minute, but you will not own it. It will not be sustainable. Success is leased, and the rent is due every day. I'm going to tell y'all a quick story. Many years ago, I was in training camp. There had been a coaching change. There had been a front office change. So I come to camp, and I was a selection of the previous coach. I was signed by the previous general manager. I never played in the NFL. So I get to training camp, and there are 7 people at my positions. That means 6 people besides me. Guess what? Guess who's the only one of those players who had never played in the NFL? So you know what this general manager, not the general, I'm sorry, this new head coach told me? Yeah, you know, we may look at a trade. I don't want to leave you out to dry because it's real hard to get signed right after training camp. He basically alluded to, oh, you about to get cut. Because you played at Kent State. You haven't played in the NFL. I got guys who played at Power 5 BCS schools who were drafted and or played in the NFL. Now, I don't need to tell you, I was just a little bit offended. Well, after 3 weeks of training camp, after 2 preseason games, guess who was number 1 on that depth chart? It wasn't simply because I was the best football player. It was because I had prepared. I had sacrificed. I had did all the things that you're supposed to do when nobody's watching. I held myself accountable. And by the time I got to camp, I was prepared to compete. Another quick story. I've been through 3 national circuits. Your athletic director can tell you what a national search is. A national search is when a college posts a position, a high-level position, and it's hundreds of people apply. Hundreds of people. But they only pick one. Director, dean, vice president. I've been through 3 national searches. Why did they pick Dr. Terry over all those other hundreds of people? A, I had a college degree. I had degrees. And I had prepared. I had prepared to compete. I understood what was required to move to the next level, and I started doing the work. So whether you're in your athletic arena, whether you're in the classroom, prepare to compete. Compete every day. Every chance you get, compete. Let me tell you a little small fact. Everybody in here, you compete with each other. Football players. There's about, I'm assuming about 60 guys on the football team here, if that. Only a few of you don't get scholarships to go on. Full scholarships, I mean. They're not giving out 60 scholarships. Basketball players, tennis players, track athletes, whatever your sport, you competing for an opportunity. When you get your degree, when you go out to the real world, you're going to have to compete. So do the things that you need to do while you're here so that you can pursue your passions beyond your playing days. Trust me, when it's over, you'll know it's over with respect to competition. And you'll have a plan. You'll have an idea of what you want to do, because when you got here, you talked to an advisor, you said, I want to get a degree in this. Or I want to get a degree in that, because in your mind, you have an idea of where you want to go in life. That might change over years, but at the end of the day, you got to get that degree. And in order to get that degree, you got to go to class. So complete. My last one was a speech by Kobe Bryant, where he talked about, why do people get up at 4 a.m. in the morning? Anybody, just one person. Why do you think people, because you got to be a little bit crazy, to get up at 4 o'clock in the morning when the sun's not up every day to pursue something? Can anybody want to raise their hand and take a guess at why you would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning? Say what? Money. You have discipline because of something. What drives a person? Passion. There it is. You got to have passion, man. something in here, okay, that's driving you. And I can't identify it for you. Let me be clear. It ain't nothing that I can say, your coaches, it has to be something that you own, a little piece of you, that means so much to you, that you're not going to let it go. That is going to push you and drive you beyond yourself. We had a term, when I played, it was called playing above your head. That means playing beyond your abilities. I might not look like much, but I'm hard to handle because I'm playing above my head. What's going to make you get up at 4 a.m. in the morning? What's going to stop you from pressing that snooze button? When the coach tells you you got to run a couple extra gasses, a couple extra suicides, when you're in practice and you got to give a couple more reps and your arms feel like they're burning, they're about to fall off, you got to gather yourself and you got to keep going. What's going to drive you when it's 7 o'clock at night and you got to go to study table? What's going to drive you when you know you got a paper due, but there's a party going on? Oh, that happens. What's going to drive you to make the right decision when nobody's watching? See, the little things done consistently make the biggest difference. Those are the moments. See, it's not on game day when you make the game-saving tackle, or you pick the ball and you take it to the house, or you make the game-winning free throw, or game-winning shot, or you hit the home run and you pose like Barry Bonds and stuff. That's not it. That moment is created. That moment is facilitated by doing the little things. And as I say that to you, you're going to walk across the stage one day. I'm claiming that with all of y'all. You're going to walk across the stage one day. And you're going to walk up and you're going to shake a man's hand. He's going to have on a funny cap and a gown. And then you're going to smile and take a picture. Y'all know what kind of day I'm talking about, right? It's called graduation. I'm claiming that for you. And the reason you'll be able to walk across that stage, the reason you'll be able to own that moment and cheese your mom up in the stands and she about to cry and all your people yelling at you, I'm describing my experience, right? Is because you did the little things consistently. You see, anytime you're recognized or acknowledged for something in this life, not in this room, not while you're here, it is because you did it in the dark when nobody was watching. There's a great quote by a guy named Skip Kelly. He was a coach at University of Oregon and an NFL coach. But he has one of my favorite quotes. He calls it competitive greatness. And the definition of competitive greatness is basically this. Be at your best when your best is required. Be at your best when your best is required. Your best is required every day, people. Your best is required when you go to class. Your best is required when you represent this college in the community. Your best is required, obviously, when you're out there competing in your respective sports. And your best is required when you're competing against each other for the opportunity to compete and represent this college. So I think that's all I have. And I just want to say thank you. You guys have been a great audience. I know I rambled on a little bit longer than I was supposed to. But as I was telling my wife earlier, I said I'm so excited because I miss athletes. And I miss interacting with student athletes. Again, you're special. Congratulate yourselves. Celebrate the small victories. And like I said, find that piece of you that you own, that drives you and motivates you and pushes you beyond yourself to pursue your dreams. Thank you. God bless you.